mother to two students in CUSD currently, and I also have two that are already at Homestead High School. And I'm here today as one of the co-leads of the SafeRoutes2School at Homestead High. The reason I'm applying to CUSD board is the overlapping attendance boundaries between Homestead High, Cupertino Middle School, West Valley, Montclair, Nimitz, as well as the geographic proximity between CMS and Homestead High. And we believe that our efforts should be combined and supported when we deal with various authorities. We have started our work at Homestead High about a month ago with the wonderful cooperation that we're getting from the cities. We have already accomplished several steps. For example, we conducted a routes or mapping survey where we have asked students to show us on huge maps the way that they tend to walk or bike to school, not the drivers. We have 60% of the students in Homestead are getting a ride or driving themselves. It's even scarier thought. The reason for this survey was to recognize what are the most commonly used routes, where are the clusters, where do we need to focus our attention to make sure that our students are safer when they're getting to school. In addition, we also had the city of Cupertino hire Alta to conduct a traffic survey with us. And I have to say that was a very enlightening and eye-opening thing. I believe that every driver should do that just once in a lifetime, stand there in a corner and look at what other people are doing and realize that we are all criminals when we're driving them. We are really looking forward to hear the recommendations that are going to come out of it, just from the discussion we had with Alta and all the volunteers after. We had so many great ideas coming up, and we're really excited about this. This week on Thursday, we're going to have Homestead High representatives, and we're going to observe to get the traffic along Homestead Road from Foothill Expressway to Homestead and back. We're doing that with representatives from three cities, from Los Altos, Cupertino, and Sunnyvale. And this is because Homestead High is the only Fremont Union High School district that actually has an attendance that serves students from all these three cities. So we are working as a school with those cities, not as a district. Once we finish consolidating the information from the route survey, we will discuss with the cities. Can I just finish it?
Yeah, go ahead.
How to create recommended safe routes for our most populated areas. So far, we already identified Mary Avenue and Homestead Road from what we've got from the students. We would like CUSD to join our efforts with the city of Sunnyvale, because even though the Homestead High is located in Cupertino, 80% of our students are coming from Sunnyvale. Our wish is to have safe routes become a priority with the city of Sunnyvale, and to make sure that we have more effort and resources allocated to this. We also implore CUSD board to help us in connecting the three cities, Los Altos, Cupertino, and High School, whose boundaries meet along Homestead Road, in making sure that required improvements are made, creating safe routes to school maps, and educating our students how to be safe on the road. Thank you.
Great comments, thank you. More?
Yep, Lauren Cunningham.
Good evening. Thank you in advance to staff and the board for participating in this process to more fully consider the Safe Routes resolution, as well as the scope of our current traffic safety situation across the district. I hope that you will discuss and consider the following tonight. We know that there are a very diverse range of programs in place amongst the 6 cities. I see 2 confounding issues district-wide, which I believe will prevent you from making a one-size-fits-all resolution that was originally proposed back in September. One, it's clear that crossing guards are currently being utilized inconsistently between cities, but also even within the same city, creating an equity situation you're a party to, even if you don't wish to. Number 2, you have the added complication of school attendance areas that will require, as Maya just said, 2+ city solutions, even when those cities have differing policies. And I say 2+ because we do have kids crossing county expressways and state highway ramps in this district as well, and that's still not being addressed. From a practical standpoint, we may wish that there was a simple and straightforward solution to this issue that applies to all schools universally at once, but that's not our reality. These are not new problems. It's not a single administration. It's not a single board that's failed to act over the years here, but we can't keep kicking this problem down to the next board or the next administration. So what is it? Is it a cost? Is it a liability? Is it equity? Is it logistics? Is it a combination of some or all of those things? Okay then, how can we rapidly identify what has been preventing us from confronting this problem for years to end this cycle? Some of those issues being brought to your attention are solvable immediately, and some will take many years of concerted effort. Let's not let that keep us from making progress in the safety for our kids today, where we can, as we can. If there are barriers in place that you believe prevent the district from taking action to partner to get guards in place where they are warranted, then the next immediate question should be, when will the district be meeting with those cities to find a fair compromise to those impasses that does not continue to keep school sites from getting what they qualify for in terms of much needed guards? Equity is a concern for us all, but it is not so simple as an equal number of guards for each school site. Some schools will qualify for more guards and others will not. We can't control the routes around each school, what each school looks like. But what we can control is making sure that each school has equal access to the objective assessment processes for their own jurisdictions. Each school site needs the district to make an honest and forthright effort to allow the objective measurement to even take place in the first place. That's where we're going to get equity out of this. It's reasonable to expect that the district will do everything in its power in an expedient manner to make sure that red tape isn't what's keeping our kids from getting across qualifying major intersections safely, district-wide. It shouldn't matter if they're at Eisenhower or Stockholmire or Hyde or Montclair. If a traffic study says it's unsafe or a city policy calls out certain criterion to see if they qualify for a guard, then we should do everything within our power to make sure that they get it. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to the discussion.
Thank you. So the next card, it has two names on it, Danielle Spreer and Allison Tobias.
Hello, I'm Danielle Spreer, Montclaire PTO Safe Routes Advocacy Chair.
And I'm Allison Tobias, Montclair PTO President.
Thank you for putting Safe Routes on the agenda for discussion. One issue the presentation brings to light is that a one-size-fits-all solution in collaborating with the 6 cities and the county that have CUSD schools is not an option. Please consider the following questions and concerns before reviewing a newly proposed or revised Safe Routes resolution in the future. The first is an immediate concern. How can the district help us to secure crossing guards now at qualifying locations? In the city of Los Altos, CUSD needs to enter into an agreement with the city of Los Altos and request evaluations at locations like Granger, Deodora, St. Joseph, and others. CUSD's historic lack of willingness to do so has kept the situation at an impasse for years. Reasons like cost and liability have been raised, but there must be a way to move forward in a collaborative effort with the city of Los Altos. Detailed information has been shared with the board to provide insight into the costs and liability in the city of Los Altos, and it's clear that the risk of continuing the stalemate with the city is more dangerous than entering into an agreement with the city, as our children continue to use dangerous intersections daily. We need the district to find a way to work collaboratively and productively with the city of Los Altos to evaluate intersections and allow crossing guards at all warranted intersections by expressing willingness to enter into an agreement with the city of Los Altos. As a reminder, the only reason there are currently 2 Montclair intersections protected by crossing guards is because St. Simon has an agreement with the city for intersections which just happened to cross paths with our Montclair route. Because of Montclair PTO's willingness to help fund the administration costs with St. Simon, Montclair school hours are covered, but CMS students also use these intersections and their hours are not covered. We need the district to take action now to protect our children who are encouraged by our district and our community to bike and walk to school.
Regarding busing, what is the criteria to obtain a bus? What is the process for evaluating routes that warrant busing? As current and future CMS parents, we are very concerned about the routes to and from Cupertino Middle School from the city of Los Altos. We believe that if routes were evaluated with clear criteria, busing would be a part of the safe route solution. Given that there are different levels of programs, crossing guards, busing, and support for safe routes throughout the 6 cities that have COSD schools, which depend on what city you live in and what school you go to, this presentation makes it clear that the only possible solution to find a way forward is by making safety the standard of all children, and then work collaboratively and productively with each of the cities and the county to design solutions to achieve the standard. Thank you for discussing these important issues tonight, and we look forward to hearing about productive outcomes.
Great, thanks. Yep, 2 more. Sandeepan Banerjee.
I'm Sandeepan Banerjee, A.Video member. And following up on what Lori asked, what is it, cost, liability, inertia, or combination, or equity, or combination thereof, and have Danielle and Allison talk about the supposed fear of cost and liability. I want to describe to the board a little bit more about the liability agreement that the city of Los Altos has entered into with the Los Altos School District. The city engages a vendor to supply crossing guards. The vendor provides primary insurance for $1 million, at least $1 million per incident, as well as a general administrative insurance, and that is primary, which means that any insurance that the city or the school district gets is secondary and is only used to cover anything that is not addressed by the amount or jurisdictional nature of the primary insurance. Further, any claims that flow through to the secondary insurance is not shared pro rata, but each party holds the other harmless for things that are not within its control. Namely, if the city provides access to a vendor for training, uniform hours, etc., anything that comes as a result of action or negligence on part of the crossing guards, the school district is held harmless for. So the school district is only responsible for posting hours, notifying if the hours change, and notifying about holidays. So its negligence only stems from being negligent in that notification. So the city holds the school district harmless for vendor-related issues, and the school district sort of holds the city harmless for schedule changes that are not notified and so on. So that's the pro rata risk and hold harmless, and in my reading of the agreement, this is not a novel arrangement. This is part of boilerplate government contracts. Thank you.
Thank you. And our last speaker is Stacy Banerjee.
So safety, of course, is the top priority of all our children, my children, your children, everyone's children. And I appreciate your consideration of all the comments I've submitted, and I say all the comments, there's been a lot of them, related to today's discussion and the discussion on September 27th. And also, thank you for taking time for joining us, Phyllis, in a walk to school to see the situation firsthand, and other board members for speaking with us. We truly appreciate that, and I think it opens the eyes to the nature of the problem. So I've submitted some of the comments for public record, if anyone else wants to see those as well. The child is going to be injured or killed walking across an intersection on their way to or from school. It's just a matter of time. With the crisis in traffic we have here, it's a ticking time bomb. Now, without the proper placement of crossing guards, CUSD will have responsibility. Some of the materials that we have submitted show some precedent and out-of-court settlements of school districts making very large payments for this. Crossing guards, on the other hand, are cheap. The cost of placing guards is minimal, and the risk that you, as my husband mentioned, can take on can be minimized. We've waited a long time to get crossing guards in Los Altos, and it's time now to put the crossing guards in place. The traffic crisis has gotten out of control. After tonight's discussion, we'd like the board to vote at the next scheduled meeting in approval of signing the crossing guard agreement with the city of Los Altos. We'd also like you to work with the city of Sunnyvale and resolve the staffing challenge they have there. They're the only city within our district or within the nearby areas that are still using direct intermittent employees of the cities. They are hiring and recruiting and trying to retain their employees themselves, and they are ineffective at doing this. They have so many on-staff locations, including locations around Cupertino Middle, that have been on staff for even a year or more. When there's solutions available, like a vendor to use, I think we need to ask the city of Sunnyvale to move forward with a mechanism where they can actually staff these much needed and very dangerous locations. Traffic is growing exponentially. I don't need to tell anybody that here. I barely made the 6 o'clock bell for my comment card. We're in a crisis. The county, the voters passed Measure B. They passed it pretty much at the same rate they voted for Hillary Clinton. It's astounding. It is a crisis here. And agencies across the county, including school districts, need to take active steps to address it, and they need to work closely together. I also request that CUSD form a committee and involve parents in a close partnership with the district to collaboratively build a district-wide master plan for complete safe routes. And this is not something that we can put off a quarter until next year. It's too far off. Our ball is rolling. As Maya said, we're meeting with Sunnyvale Thursday. Tomorrow night, we're at the city of Los Altos with Greentown efforts on complete streets. And we ask you to support us, to join us, to help us. All we need is crossing guards and busing criteria and some education, and the rest we need to work together to get from the cities and counties. So our children deserve to be safe on their way to from school. They need your protection. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it?
Okay. So I'm gonna open this up to the presentation. I'm sorry.
Lesson.